Now, ladies and gentlemen, what are we talking about today? I think it's very interesting, and it's because of the fact that in the last 2 decades, the entire sphere or the entire or the business ethics have changed totally, and it's because of the fact that now we have internet, and everybody usually most of the time has got access to the internet as well. People are freelancing, people are YouTubing, people are making sure at a very tender age of 15 or 16 they're making millions of rupees just by creating more content. But how can internet help us add on to the economy? Because that's one thing which the countries have capitalized on, and they've done it wonderfully well. We talk about IT exports, ladies and gentlemen. Just last year, the IT exports were at 3.5 billion. But for now, what we really need to do is that, when we say that our economy is totally dependent on agriculture, well, not totally, partially, yes. But how can we use internet? Why are we drop shipping from other countries? Why can't we do it from Pakistan? Why cannot we ourselves be in the first place to make sure that we are that one window solution for the rest of the world? And that's where we really need to come together. The governments have given us quite a lot of relaxation in terms of when we talk about taxes. We do have IT zones coming up as well. A lot of people from outside the country are coming back to Pakistan, making sure that they're going to invest where information technology sector is booming over here. And how do we capitalize it to an extent where it comes to kind of start to give back to the economy? And that's something which any and every country would want. So for that, ladies and gentlemen, we're very lucky that we've actually been joined by somebody who in the first place happens to be an author, a publisher, but then she happens to be a serial entrepreneur, and then she happens to be an IT analyst as well. Ladies and gentlemen, we're very lucky that we've been joined by Miss Dania Khan. Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning, how are you?
Walaikum assalam. I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you very much for joining us. I've given the introduction. Now I want you to kind of explain to our audiences in 46 different countries how internet can be beneficial for our economy and why we were not able to utilize it, and how do you think which are those tools that by applying we will be able to reap out some good benefits out of the internet.
All right. Most importantly, why we were not able to use it until now, it's mostly because we didn't have awareness. Okay. And I'd say fortunately we had this pandemic and those things that at least now we know what's the power of internet, and people cannot survive without using the internet.
True.
Normally a person spends 8 hours a day on digital media.
Yeah.
Like, that's a lot of time.
True.
We're spending daily on it. Why not spend it productively?
Okay.
The first thing I want to talk about is let's start at root scale level, where one individual can be self-sustainable using the internet. Whether he's doing freelancing, half of the world is doing freelancing right now. Pakistan got 1 billion through freelancing this year. So until now.
Okay, are we talking about dollars or are we talking about 1 billion rupees? Okay,
$1
billion, that's quite a lot of huge sum.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not sure if it's dollars or no, but it was 1 billion. So we did generate 1 billion to freelancing. So individuals can freelance whatever skills they have, design, writing, whatever they have, and be self-sustainable. So they're not a burden on the economy. They're not looking for jobs. They're not going to anyone asking for help. Then coming to businesses, we've seen that a lot of startup culture has come up in Pakistan. A lot of people are working on these things. Government is also supporting. And when we have more businesses coming up, we have more production, we have more job opportunities, we have employment opportunities. And then what happens, what I like the best about internet, I believe, according my research, that this is a solution and alternative to capitalism, where there's no barrier to entry or exit, where there's complete transparency, and customer can reach directly to the business.
True.
They can ask what you've sent us, why you've sent us this. They can leave a review. So all these things make more trust on the economy, and
only
inflation.
If you're sending them what you promised them.
Yeah. But with the time, I think saturation gets cleared out. Eventually, with time, we know that these are the brands that we can trust, and these are the ones who are making a fool out of us.
I think that's wonderful, and that's wonderfully explained as well. But let's come down to where we talk about Internet of Things or e-commerce.
Yeah.
We talk about online banking, we talk about drop shipping as well. But what we really need to kind of focus on in the first place is, because we have targeted, and you said that we really need to start from the grassroots level, let's talk about the payment methods, because now, fortunately, I think We were told that, okay, all of those international mediums which are going to get our money will be existing in Pakistan, but we do not really see them very operational, and that's the first ever barrier for the people who are into e-commerce. So what do you have to say about that?
Okay, so yeah, we do understand that it's still taking time for PayPal or stuff like that to come to Pakistan, but we do have other options like wallets, Jazz Cash, Easy Pay, Western Union, and some other options like Payoneer, Skrill. So we do have some payment methods, and people are doing e-commerce business, receiving international payments, and it is feasible. But we don't
have... Takes a lot of time though.
It takes time, but if we use Payoneer or Skrill, in the first transaction it does take time, but in the future transactions it's okay. You can also use 2Checkout. So we do have some alternatives, but I do believe that we need to bring PayPal. For that, I think we'll have to wait a little bit more. Once blockchain comes into place, once our banking system is secure enough, then we can expect to have more payment.
Thank you very much for saying that, because I wanted to talk about it, and the government really has not been paying a lot of attention to blockchain, and ladies and gentlemen, the world has already utilized blockchain for their benefit. Okay, for everybody, for any layman, let me make sure that you understand what blockchain is. So imagine that if I have this piece of document over here with me, what blockchain will do is the blockchain will give the record to each and every individual out there in the world, making sure that the record is safe with everybody and that it's authentic. That's what blockchain does. So imagine, now we know and now we register that blockchain is the safest ever you can actually get to on internet as well, and that's very important for everybody. But how do you think that we have really been very timid with our approach, where how we have not accepted blockchain and we have not accepted them to come into our country? Why do you think we have done that? And it has so far damaged quite a lot, and that's something which we do not realize. So how would you want to shed light on that?
I think that previously nothing was done in ID sector in Pakistan, but recently we do see that some things have been under development. Microsoft is coming here. We're also seeing Apple promising to come. We've seen Facebook promising to open their monetization for Pakistan. These are good signs. Our government is investing in the ID sector. They're doing these tax exemptions and setting up software parks, and I think it is high time that we do invite blockchain and their specialists. We do have some people who are doing these things on their own, on individual level, but we need people on a community scale where we can. I believe that we should be acting on this, and if government is listening to me, they must act on it. Build a community for blockchain. It's the most securest way, and
safest as well.
Yeah, we've lost a lot of opportunity until now. We see other countries, they're surpassing us. Like in freelancing, I believe we are 4th in the world. We're doing good. We're proportionately a small country, but we have a 4th number in a big industry. That's good. But on other industries as well, we need to groom, mostly on e-commerce. Pakistan has a lot of resources. We have tourism, we have agriculture, we have the best quality textile,
telemedicine,
and so many things. If we cut the middleman out, we start sending these products, these services directly into the customer's pocket, whether it's in Europe, in Malaysia, and everywhere. I think that's a win-win for both us and the other economies.
Exactly, and that's wonderful. Thank you very much for saying that as well, because this eventually will, ladies and gentlemen, add on to the economy of the country, and that's something which we want as well. And when we talk about freelancing, obviously that is foreign remittances, because each and every individual is either getting paid in dollars, pounds, or whichever country they're working for, so it's great that eventually the money is coming back to Pakistan, and that's the way forward, because we really need to think that how do we transition from, the very conventional agriculture practices to very modern agriculture practices, because now you go on internet and you can get everything. We do have business models where, let's talk about, and I will have to do justice with it, Kareem, let's talk about Daraz, let's talk about Food Panda, and we do have these successful business models who've actually they did came up with their enterprising ideas, and they made sure that they're going to have a greater impact on people. So how do you think that we keep on building these brands, because that's really important? Over here in Pakistan, what I've witnessed is that, God forbid, if you order something from somewhere, and I've gone through it myself, I'm 6'3", I'm very tall, usually the definition or the description of the product is something which you think, hey, you know what, it might fit me, but as soon as it's at your doorstep and you wear it and you open it up, it does not fit you at all. Either it's smaller, either it's larger, so there's always this confusion. So for all of those brands who are out there who are doing this and who have been doing this with people, what is your message for them?
I want to say one thing: sales is a short-term thing, and brand is a long-term thing. So don't focus on sales. If you're fooling someone out and trying to get 1K out of them or 2K out of them, why not be honest with them and make 20Ks and make 2 lakhs and make millions out of those people? When you offer them quality, people stick with you. So just focus on quality.
So all we need to do is, this is what we say in Urdu, that we have to be lambi race ke ghode. So please make sure that you invest on your brand. And to invest on your brand, ladies and gentlemen, you'll obviously have to make sure that your customer is satisfied every time he or she is receiving your product, and make sure that you add value, because if you're not going to add value, your product is of no use to anybody out there. I did literally touch upon a little bit on drop shipping as well, where how we using other countries to make sure that they do it for us. How do you think we can benefit ourselves, and how do we build that capacity for our own people that they're able to do that?
Okay, what I believe, I have like 1 lakh, 2 lakh students. I teach all of them this thing that
I like how you said that, I have 1 lakh, 2 lakh students. That's almost more than 1,000 classrooms to fit in all of those students.
So we have virtual and physical trainings both. And alhamdulillah, I've helped a lot of businesses also set up their presence on the internet. But what I want to say is, I tell all my students, instead of going to China, getting a product, sending it to Europe, sending it to America, it is cheaper, but it has a lot of things involved. First, you have to invest, and the money is not coming directly to Pakistan, which is not beneficial for our economy. So what I would suggest is, do local drop shipping. Buy stuff from Faisalabad and send it to US. Buy stuff from Xiaomi and send it to Europe. So think global and act local. Get your own products, list them on Etsy, list them on Amazon, list them on a lot of other places. Say if Amazon, we don't only have Amazon, there's e-commerce means a lot of other things as well. We have WooCommerce, we have WordPress, we have a lot of other ways, Shopify. So you can even directly sell from Instagram. So, why go such a long way and make you get your payment stuck? And what if your product is rejected? What if there's a JIT issue? Why are you going to do then? So have things in your own control, give some benefit to your own country and to your own self as well.
Wow, that's wonderful. Thank you very much for saying that, but it's easier said than done, to be very honest, and we really need to build up that capacity. A few people are doing that, and they're trying to do so as well, but there are a lot of hindrances, because now what happens is that, God forbid, imagine, so my wife, what she does is that she gets all of this stuff from Turkey and elsewhere and sells it to people. But imagine that as soon as all of that stuff is over here in Pakistan, the customs does not release it, and they make sure that they're going to hold that shipment for another 1 month or 2 months, and that's where we are not helping anybody within the, where we say that, in the ease of business, we have dropped down in the index number as well, but I do not see that happening. So how do we make sure that the environment is conducive for each and every individual who's trying to do something, at least on internet? Because one, obviously people are not very well aware, they do not have that very basic education of what they might have done. Then eventually, if they do have a startup, God forbid, there are so many other hurdles, where I see that public offices are actually supposed to help us. They're supposed to create convenience for us rather than making it harder for us to do business. What would you want to say on that?
Okay, one thing most importantly is that we do have growing pains because this is a comparatively newer industry to our country. It has existed for other world, but for us it's a newer thing. So we do have growing pains, and we will go through them. I won't say there won't be any. We will go through them. But like me, and I've seen other people as well, there's a lot of people in the industry. It's been 4 years that I'm creating free content on educating people why IT is important, what you can do with it, how you can make magic with internet. So a lot of other people are doing so as well. I think on individual scale, if we're doing these things, if government also takes initiatives on IT awareness and especially license with their departments, like you said, the public officers and the people who are looking after exports and imports, if we have a good license system with them, then we can ensure that we're growing at a very good scale.
And imagine, when we talk about public officers, obviously we would certainly want the other person on the other side of the table to be educated about what we are talking about. For somebody who might have actually worked for a department for 20 long years, but he or she does not have any idea about what e-commerce is or how it really needs to go, or if the policies are not in place, ladies and gentlemen, it will just make it more difficult for the people to do their work, which I believe everybody needs to kind of go through those courses as well. And where you said that you give away free courses and lectures, I have a very interesting debate on this, because the other day, Vakar Zaka happens to be a dear friend, and he's a teacher to me. He has taught me quite a lot of things. And then Azad Chai chai wala is big on internet as well, and that's what they're trying to say, what you are saying, that hey, you know what, let's make things ourselves and let's give it to people ourselves as well. But now what happens is that, you know, they were in this very funny debate where Waqar Zakir was like, hey, you know what, so I've been telling everybody about Bitcoin, how they need to invest and whatnot, even though that, you know, it's not legal over here in Pakistan, so I don't know how he's been managing to do that, even though he's not in Pakistan at this very moment. But he said a very wonderful thing. He said that, you know, till the time I was giving these lectures for free, nobody was interested. As soon as I had a support group on Facebook and everybody had to pay $15, everybody was keen to learn. So I think there's a big catch over here that Pakistani people, if you get some material which is very tangible, we would always want it for free. But if there's education and knowledge for free, nobody's going to take it. What would you want to say on that? Because you have more than 100 or 200,000 students on internet.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. It's a topic really close to my heart. I would like to use the Urdu word here. हम कहते हैं कि माले मुफ्त दिले बेरहम. So yes, that happens. After 4 years of creating free content, past year I decided now I will be giving paid training. So
exactly.
I am.
And now you might be getting paid quite a lot. You know, because the very moment when you were doing it for free, you know, people might not be interested, and you know, you might not get those views as well. But all of a sudden, now when you're charging, you know, the money's coming in and the views are coming in as well. Wow, that's wonderful. So we really need to kind of think, what are we doing with our lives? You know, we really need to think about who our role models need to be. So please make sure, people, that you decide very wisely as well. Towards the end, what I would like to kind of ask over here is for every individual, because people over here are very confused. यार क्या करें, हमें तो कुछ पता ही नहीं है. So, you know, and I will translate it for people who are out there as well, for our English audiences as well. You know, people over here usually in Pakistan are confused because they might not have the very basic knowledge of internet or computers, and then usually they have this question, oh, you know, because we do not know anything about it, so that's why we're not doing anything within that sphere of the business as well, which obviously is a very negative thought process. There's so many courses, you know, we have madam over here, you know, who's giving away courses as well, but now they're not for free. You know, you were not able to jump on that bandwagon. But how do you think that for any individual who's at home can learn and do their business by their own selves as well?
Okay. First, most important thing, YouTube is the best platform to learn.
The best teacher?
Yeah, the best teacher, I would say. Google and YouTube. A lot of people don't do Google in Pakistan because they think it's hard, even though it's very simple. But YouTube is more simpler. You can see everything in video version. I still have 25 free courses available. Anybody can go and see them on YouTube. Not only me, but whatever interests you, whether you have a family business, whether you're trying to start a new one, whether you have an idea, just do some research first. Don't just jump in and you know, get overwhelmed and then sit back.
But what kind of research are we talking about over here? You know, you said that, okay, you go on YouTube. So for example, if I have to sell my products, I get them made over here in Pakistan, making it easier for our audiences. How do you think I start my business?
Okay, if you
from
want
the
to
very
sell
basics.
if you want to sell your products, you do have the products, right? You take their pictures. The first step is take their pictures. Take good pictures, put them on Facebook and Instagram, link your Instagram with Shopify. Shopify is a pretty simple platform, simple drag and drop. So link Facebook, Instagram and Shopify, upload pictures, start selling.
That's it.
Simple as that.
That's it. Wow, that's wonderful. So that's how simple it is, ladies and gentlemen. The platform we figured out today for anybody who wants to start selling their own products is Shopify, and all you need to do is give your links in the bios and people will definitely come to you if they think that your product is going to add value to their life. Remember, it's all about branding. It's all about how much value your product is going to add to people's daily routine. Please make sure that you do that. And you know, only you can even, you know, sell sunscreen these days as well, and that too online. You know, because a lot of our mothers, you know, parents, they have these Purane totkas where, you know, put this on your skin and your skin will glow. You know, so just write that caption and you know that a lot of people are going to get onto that.
Just add a bit of story to it, like my Nani Amma told me this, and because this is the era of storytelling and people buy on emotions.
Thank you very much.
So go big on emotions, do some nice things. And
people are getting bigger on emotions as well, because these days people are even finding their rishtas online, you know. So please make sure that you go big on emotions. That's what we are saying, and make sure that you contribute to the economy, because the country we live in, ladies and gentlemen, deserve a lot of us as well.
I would like to add one last thing.
Why not?
I believe that in the next 10 years, Pakistan will be in the top 3 economies in the
Inshallah,
world.
inshallah,
If
inshallah.
we focus on all these internet things, because this is a high time, we can say that history is being redefined.
Okay.
If we claim our place in the global world, we can make sure that Pakistan becomes one of the top economies in the world, just focusing on the IT sector.
And that's what we certainly want to do, ladies and gentlemen, because the future generations down 3 decades or 4 decades would be like, hey, you know what, the Gen Z did a wonderful job, and Gen Z is not me and you, it's the generation lower than us as well. So please make sure, because I consider myself to be in Gen Y, or probably Gen X, but yeah, to be very honest, ladies and gentlemen, if you think you can do it, if you have the passion, you dedicate yourself to doing something, or you commit to do something, please make sure that you do it 100%. Thank you very much, Ms. Dania Khan, for being with us. It was lovely to be in conversation with such an enterprising woman who's got such brilliant ideas for the future generation of Pakistan. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we're heading out towards a short break. These computers we work on, these processors, they actually emit a lot of heat. What do we do with this heat, ladies and gentlemen, is something which we will be talking about in the next segment. A lot of carbon emissions, which did go down when there was a travel ban, but once again, it's on a rise. What do we do about climate change? Because climate change is for real. That's something we are talking about in the second segment. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Good morning.
Kash.com 0304
1115786